Hello, lovelies. This is author Swamini Chopra Salame. Once again, I'm here to narrate a short story to all of you guys. So, this time I have attempted something new. I have written a short story from mythological fiction genre, and in this video, I will be narrating that story for you all. So, I have titled the story as The Lost Chronicle of Ravana. The waves crashed softly against the shore, their rhythm as ancient as time itself. The golden sand stretched under the fading hues of the evening sun, untouched by the usual flood of tourists. The pandemic had turned this vibrant Konkan beach town into a ghost of its former self. Sarvesh Gaud sat cross legged near a cluster of rocks, his gaze lost in the endless expanse of the Arabian Sea. The scent of the salt filled the air, mingling with the faint traces of monsoon moisture. This beach was his refuge, a place where his past did not haunt him, where he could pretend, even if just for a moment, that he was no different from anyone else. But he wasn't. Sarvesh carried a secret that had chased his family through the centuries, making them move from town to town, erasing records, changing names. Yet, in hushed voices and old stories, the shadow over his family never fully disappeared. His thoughts were interrupted by a voice. Hey! Sarvesh turned sharply. A young woman stood a few feet away, wind playing with her loose hair. She had an air of quiet confidence, a notebook tucked under her arm and a pen twirling between her fingers. Her eyes, sharp and curious, studied him with an intensity that made him uneasy. I have been watching you, she said as she walked closer. Sarvesh raised an eyebrow. That's not a great conversation starter, he said. She laughed, sitting down beside him. I didn't mean it in a creepy way. I just see you here often, alone, meditating like a sage. So I thought either you are a yogi or a runaway. Sarvesh smiled. Neither. I am just someone who likes silence. She returned his smile and extended her hand. Maithili Kelkar, PhD scholar, studying history, specifically the life of Ravana. Sarvesh felt his chest tighten. He had spent his entire life avoiding that name. But here it was, spoken casually on this beach like an old friend returning unannounced. Ravana, he repeated, trying to mask his reaction. Yes, Maithili nodded, her eyes lightening up. I study Ravana, not as a villain, but as a scholar, a musician, a Shiva devotee, and a man of immense knowledge that history has mostly erased. Sarvesh's gaze darkened. Most people don't see him that way, but that does not erase the truth. Most people know only half the story, Maithili replied. But my family has worshipped Ravana for centuries. Sarvesh frowned. You worship him? He interrupted with mixed emotions. She smiled at his confusion. Not as a god, as a protector, as a savior of my ancestors. Now she had his full attention. Please explain, he said, intrigued. Maithili took a deep breath before she spoke. My family comes from an ancient Brahmin lineage in Kashi. More than 5,000 years ago, during the late Treta Yuga, there was a war, one that very few remember today. A warlord from the north, Raja Vishrudra, wanted to conquer Kashi and destroy all who opposed him. But the Brahmins of our lineage, scholars and sages, refused to bow to his rule. They refused to bless his campaign of destruction. Sarvesh listened intently as she continued. In retaliation, Vishrudra declared that every male in our lineage would be slaughtered and every woman will be enslaved. My ancestors had nowhere to run. They were trapped in the temple city waiting for death. That was when Ravana intervened. Sarvesh's breath hitched slightly, but he said nothing. Maithili's voice softened. Ravana was passing through Kashi on his way to south. He had immense respect for scholars and sages despite being a warrior himself. When he heard about Vishrudra's attack, he took it personally. He confronted Vishrudra not as a demon king but as a protector of knowledge. He refused to let the Brahmins of Kashi be wiped out. Sarvesh's finger dug into the sand as he absorbed her words. Ravana could have simply left, Maithili continued, not noticing his stiff posture. But he did not. He sent his strongest warriors, his most skilled generals, to fight against Vishrudra's army. The battle was fierce, but Ravana's force crushed the warlord's men. Instead of killing Vishrudra, Ravana exiled him, ensuring that he never had the power to return. Sarvesh felt a strange, inexplicable emotion rise in his chest. My ancestors owed their survival to Ravana, Maithili said. But not just their survival, their knowledge, their legacy. He didn't just save them, he took them to Lanka, gave them a home, and protected them until they were strong enough to return to Kashi after the war had faded from history. Silence stretched between them, only the waves filling the emptiness. And yet, Maithili started, her voice tinged with sorrow. History remembers only the bad. They call him arrogant, evil, kidnapper. But they forget he was a Veena maestro, a pandit, a Shiva devotee. They forget the man behind the legend. People ever mock you for this? Sarvesh asked. She let out a carefree laugh. All the time. They call me demon's devotee. They say I glorify evil. But I don't. I study history beyond its black and white versions. That doesn't mean I hate Ram. In fact, I revere him for the just king that he was. But I refuse to accept that Ravana was pure darkness. Sarvesh turned to look at the waves. I know how that feels, he admitted, his eyes afar. Maithili's expression shifted. What do you mean? Sarvesh hesitated. His entire life had been a secret. Was he really about to let a stranger in? He had lived his entire life in fear of his lineage being discovered, feared of people calling him a monster's heir. But for the first time in his life, he met someone who respected Ravana. Not out of blind worship, but because of an untold story. Sarvesh's throat felt dry. Even after thousands of years, the mere thought of Ravana's bloodline evoked fear, suspicion, and hostility. He had spent his entire life feeling burdened by Ravana's name. And now, here was this woman who saw him as something else entirely. A slow smile spread across his face, and he finally spoke. He gulped loudly. He breathed deep, am the last known descendant of Ravana, the demon king of Lanka. The waves rolled in, swallowed his words, carrying them towards an unseen future. So, lovelies, this is the part one of my short story, Lanka's Heritage. For the next video, I will be narrating the part two, where we will know about Sarvesh's story, his lineage, and about his family further. So, I hope you have enjoyed this short story. And if this interests you, please like the video, comment on the video, and stay tuned for part two. Thank you.